Media in here. Here we go.
Hey
Gentlemen,
guys.
welcome.
How's it going, y'all? How's it going, everybody?
You're good.
Okay, good.
We're doing well. We are very glad to have you. We are very glad to dive into another side of the music industry, which is what you guys with videos and such. So Lisa and Matt, you guys know them a little more better than we do. You want to start and then we'll just let it morph into what it morphs into.
Matt.
For Lisa?
Oh, okay. Okay. Hi guys.
Very
Before we
polite. I
get
love that.
started. Okay, so Kreuked Media has done work with some of your favorite artists that we play here on the Sound. They've done videos for West Creek. They've done videos for Kingdom Collapse. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, Kevin.
Now keep going. I was trying something. Just keep going.
Guys, if you wouldn't mind, would you please introduce yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Kevin. My last name is Kreisel. I am the founder of Kreuked Media, and this is Anthony.
Hey, everybody. Like you said, I'm George Anthony, and I have been with Kreuked Media for 2 years now.
Okay. So when you guys, one of the things that I think a lot of bands, as they're coming into the market and they start to elevate a little bit and they get maybe a little bit of cash or they're starting to try and push their brand a little bit more, that's really where you get involved, Jonathan Norris.
Yeah.
What do you find? We're always telling bands, at least I know Matt and I are in what we do, telling bands they've got to have, if they want to have and grow their brand, not only do they need banging tracks, they really need top tier content. They've got to be putting out content that's going to grab the attention. It's going to be relevant. It's going to capture the essence of the tracks that they're putting out. What are you guys finding? What is your role, I guess, in the market? How do you guys go about getting in contact with people, making those music videos, and then supplying that relevant content to the bands? Tell us about your process.
So I guess I'll kind of take you back to the start and why Kreuked Media even formed. Truthfully, I was in a band. I played drums, and Anthony was a guitarist. And so that's how we had met each other way back when, in the early 2000s. And like most people, you look at, what does my future look like? And in terms of what your wants are. And for me personally, it was, wanting to have a family one day. And so, sometimes it's hard to match those lifestyles. And for me, I deviated from the music path and actually went into the retail environment, which I still do to this day. But the reason why Kreuked Media exists is because I went to college for cinematography and design. And for one, making sure that I didn't completely waste the degree that I was working towards. But two, I saw where there's this huge gap, right? Where you see a demand for content building, but the reality of achieving that is not as tangible. And you see a lot of these bands that are starting to have amazing music, and can, fall into different streaming apps or get into like different ways to get their music out there. But you said it earlier best, people want to have something that really sparks their interest and their attention. And I think that that's something that we've been able to have fun with doing. Our first and foremost priority out of anything is to have fun. Like, we're not here to pull a profit. I know that sounds super contradictory to any business model, but we do this for fun, and it's been growing to the point to where it sustains itself and puts a little money into our pocket, which is cool. I think it's the best business model anybody can have. You can show up and have fun with what you're doing, and then be able to invest back into the community which you once lived in. You're now doing a service to that community. I don't know, Anthony, is there anything you kind of want to throw into that?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I was just really going to echo off of that. Is the biggest thing we push is family, right? Because we have families of our own, but also, the I guess if you want to call them clients, the bands that we work with are like family to us too. They're friends outside of the creativity, and I think that kind of makes everything else flow that much easier and much more organically when we actually get on set and start, hashing things out. So really just about family and togetherness, and it's been like that from the start. Started as a friendship, and now it's going into this full-fledged creative media company we have going. So that's really all of it. Yeah.
So what other clients, I mean, you guys are in the San Antonio area, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're based
Okay.
out of San Antonio. To date, we've primarily done local artists. I believe we've had the opportunity to work with the best local artists that we have, and we've grown, I think, mutually together, which has been really exciting. I tell most of the people that we work with that this is going to be a journey, right? Because it's not a one and done. Our goal, again, is not to get rich off of you. Our goal is to see you succeed and you continue to grow your platform. And what's the coolest thing for us is to say that we're part of the ride, right? Like, and that's for us. The other thing, too, I think that has allowed us to continue to do this in the most fun way is that we don't take on every project we're offered. We're offered lots of projects throughout the year, Jonathan. I feel like half of this interview is going to be Jonathan interjecting here. But
I'm only putting up half his comments.
yeah. Just somebody mute Jonathan. But no, it's been a tremendous journey working with the guys from Kingdom Collapse. So major shout out to Kingdom Collapse. In terms of like, who we started with and who we've worked with, Kreuked Media in some way, shape, or form has been around since early 2011, but was just a thing that kind of existed. We didn't really try to push it. We didn't try to commercialize it. We didn't try to, push it into what it is today. Even in today, it's still, I think, in its infancy for what it is. Like, we don't take on more than maybe about 5 or 6 projects. And we only take on the projects that we want to do, the projects that we're going to be passionate about, that we're going to give 120% into, to work late night hours, to whatever it is that we have to do to help these bands, which we call our team's success. Like that's where we have invested most of our time and our energy. Not that we couldn't take on other projects, but what are we going to be passionate about? What are we really going to want to do? So all the projects that you see, we've taken on because we want. We've truly been our own boss. There's nobody driving this ship other than what we've decided to take on. And the bands that we work with, we feel super privileged to work with. Yes, Kingdom Collapse. Yes, West Creek. But we do work with some other unique style of artists. We have a duo that we've worked with in the past that has more of an electronic vibe, kind of like a 21 Pilots kind of vibe. We've worked with some older clientele, some guys in the band that like to do more of an experimental kind of sound, and like an older, like a 1984 kind of vibe to it. And so we've worked with bands like that, and then we've gotten into heavy stuff. Like I was watching the Architects video earlier. I'm a huge fan of Architects. Now I will say though, I had to backtrack a little bit because you guys were talking about bands that sound like other bands. That song is a complete Bring Me the Horizon style song. Now I dig it because I'm a huge Bring Me the Horizon fan, but the other band that you guys played definitely sounded uniquely different, and I love the creativity of that music. So whoever shot it, well done from the band.
Ibanez. Well, it sounds like you guys have mostly grown then really from word of mouth.
Yes.
A very organic, slow burn up to getting, I guess, more and more, clientele, and again, staying passionate about what you do. Why don't we do why don't we take a look at one of the videos that you've done, the latest single from Kingdom Collapse, and then we can maybe talk
now
about
that
it.
He's in the
Jonathan's
comments.
here, I don't want to do it.
And that'll lead perfectly onto my question.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. This is Kingdom Collapse and Never Be Like You, and you are watching The Sound.
Damn good video.
All right, there it is.
Damn
So
good
there's
video.
a question, and I had the same question earlier. Jonathan and David, when are we going to see you? Jonathan says soon.
There we go.
Nice.
I think Matt had a question. Yeah, before we're going in the video, Matt, why don't you kick it off?
Yeah. So, as Jonathan was in the comments, I was actually going to use "Never Be Like You" as an example. So, Lisa was talking about your process. So, how long and how do you get to from Jonathan per se coming to you and being like, "Kevin, I've got this single, I need a music video, here's my concept. From that to the end product, what's the process? Is there a lot of back and forth going? Is there a lot of like doodling stuff down and finding venues and stuff? It's not a quick process, I presume.
It's not. It's my dog's here. Sorry. He wants to jump in and tell us what's going on.
Yeah,
there.
all good.
But it's a longer process now. I will say our process has changed considerably now that Kingdom Collapse tours the majority of the year. And so the way that we work together has changed. In the early days, it was, okay, let's really sit down. Let's, build a concept out of it. Let's start kind of drafting things out, storyboard, more of your traditional timeline. As we've worked together so many times. Matter of fact, I had to write this down. We've done 11 Kingdom Collapse music videos today. We've done every music video that they have done. So when I say growing together, like part of that family, that's it, right? That's a real world example where we're with you for life. Now, at some point, I joke with John all the time. He needs to go find some massive, studio to go, Michael Bay his next music video. But till then, we'll keep trucking with them. But as far as the process, I'm kind of side steering here. The process is, the way it works now is, as they're writing their music, we're building ideas with that music. And so we'll have various touch points depending on where they're at in their tour schedule. And then we'll kind of start with the end in mind. Okay, when do we need to release it? Then let's work backwards from there. When can we physically get together and film this? Then before that, when can we go in and physically start jotting out our ideas? It's almost kind of like, as we're listening to the song, we're Fantasia it in our heads, right? It's like, what is it that we're seeing? What is it that we want to bring to life? Most times, John is actually a great co-pilot in the directing part. He actually directs a fair bit of what you see as well, because he has such a strong vision in what it is that he wants to achieve with his music direction. So we put a lot of things in. But it differs on the band. But as far as like from start to finish, you're talking about 2 to 3 months from concept to final product. Now that's not like a consecutive group of work. It may be 3 or 4 days editing here, a couple of days editing here. Then we'll have final proofs, review. Then we'll start the teaser process, and then we'll figure out a final. But yeah, total of about 2 to 3 months on the long one.
Yeah, it's a long old time once you carry on, Kevin.
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to ask so we have bands from all over that watch this and stuff like that. So is there an opportunity for you guys to travel to a band, or do you have the bands travel to you guys?
So we're not against either option. Like I said, I do view Kreuked Media as one of its infancy, because it's organically growing into what it is. And that's been a cool thing to see. In terms of like travel, we've been offered to travel. We've had some bands offer to pay hotel and all that. They ultimately didn't work out because of various timelines. Again, tour schedules have a lot to do with it. We're, for the most part, out of COVID, so everybody's back on the road, right? Everybody's saying
right.
Fast and Furious. Some bands are almost putting out 2 albums because they did so much writing during the pandemic. So it just comes down to timelines and all that. We're not against it, but certainly we could host a situation where if somebody wanted to come to San Antonio, we could work something out. We are looking for more bands. Yes, I think.
Yeah. First thing I want to say is kudos to you for the LD50 hanging up behind you in the background.
Oh yeah, yep.
I was going to bring that up too, because I also see the Used up there, I think, and Blink 182. And
Yeah, I thought that's what that was. Yeah, but I was like staring down the LD50.
Yep.
A product of that generation.
Yeah,
early 90s, early 2000s, even into some of the emo phase. But I like the range of music. I like the heavy stuff. I keep joking with Jonathan from Kingdom Collapse, but this is a reality. He needs to make vinyl, so I can put it on my wall. I'm sure a lot of people would buy it. So, John, I know you're listening. Make vinyl. Come on.
We need vinyls, Jonathan.
My question was, well, first, I love to hear like the passion part of it. You know, obviously that's why all of us are here on this side of the screen, is that it's the same thing. We just love music and we love hearing the new stuff and hearing the new bands. We've talked to some other artists before that you said something interesting, that it's not the thing that you're surviving solely on right now, right? Did I hear you correctly in saying that?
Yeah, it's you're casting a net, right? I mean, and look at how many different social media platforms are out there. So like when we cut a music video, that music video needs to be shot with a few things in mind. Um, Most music videos are shot with there can be a standard 16:9 format, or that 21:9, which is a wider screen format, which you saw in that last music video that you showed. But how we frame things so that way they can be used on multi-platforms, right? Like Instagram story, TikTok, right? And everything has different time lengths. And so there's a whole new complexity to the social media environment now that we aim to help support bands with as well, right? So as we're doing music videos, we don't just do music videos. There we go. Final's coming. I love it. We don't just do music videos. We're doing the social media aspects, right? We're looking at, what is your Instagram story going to look like? What's your Facebook story going to look like? Are you going to do a YouTube short? Are you going to do what do you want that aspect ratio to be? What's that time frame need to be? Because at this point, you've got to get everything everywhere. It has to be everywhere. And TikTok is more of that, I call it the ADHD environment, where it's like you want fast, quick things that can
Potato chips.
Hit the hook and go, right? As where
Potato
YouTube maybe more of that slower enjoying, you're sitting down and watching. But yeah, it's a completely different landscape now. And, this is just a portion of that. And we're super passionate to be able to provide that for bands without a huge large expense. So,
I guess where I was going with it more though, is this your full-time gig, or do you still have? Yeah. Okay. So I bring that up to say that, and you mentioned it earlier. I think that's awesome. We've talked to some other artists before. Kevin, you'll have to help me with the name, but the guy that sold his logging company, and then that allowed him.
Fire follows.
Yes. And he had a great story. And one of the things I loved about it, and kind of sounds like your situation, is that a lot of bands that we see on the internet or we meet live, like, they're passionate, they want to do it, they go all in, and that's great, but it can leave you vulnerable and financially, right, in a lot of ways. And either you could get taken advantage of, or you don't have the right resources, you can't adequately produce your music or get the videos made. So I love hearing your side of things, as to where, like, you're still, I'm assuming, like, working a regular job, which allows you then to be selective about what you do, put the right amount of time into it, and then make a great product. And I hope anybody that's in a band, artist, whatever, listening to that, because you have to balance the two. It's great to go all in. I respect that. But if you do it and you go all in and you can't afford, Lisa, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't afford to put the product out right, you just shot yourself in the foot before you ever started the race.
Yeah, there's no point.
Right. And
I
know,
have the
like,
visuals to go with the audio, you're only halfway there.
There's a saying out there that says you got to spend money to make money.
Oh yeah.
Right? You have to invest in yourself continually. And so there are times where we talk to bands and they throw out they want the Michael Bay performance, right? But they have $20 to their name for that, right? And it's like, you also have to start within your reality, right? And how you continue to build those things up. The joy for us is that we do have some of that flexibility. Like I said earlier, this is not our full-time business, right? Like, this is our passion project. We do it because we want to do it, right? We don't do it just to survive. So
I think that's your advantage. I think that's your advantage.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because it's not, let me get as many projects as I can get in this month and just crank out a bunch of content because I need to keep my platform going.
Correct. That was my point. Yeah.
No, it's the other way around. It's, hey, you know what? I didn't like the way this part of the music video was shot. I'm going to take my time out of my time and go reshoot something. Or, hey, you know what? I thought of another location that may work better. Let me reinvest into your project that we're doing to where we can get things to where we want them to be, so we can give out the best product that we possibly can. Or, hey, you know what? We need to work at different intervals. and work on these projects throughout the year. That's okay too. You know, we're here to support the bands that we partner with, because it truly is that partnership, right? Like, you know, you don't do 11 music videos with a band by just trying to make money. There's a partnership there. Right? That's something that we've been super thankful for to do, and we would love more of those opportunities if they present themselves, you know, in the coming years. You know, maybe at some point this does become that true money-making machine, but that's not our goal. That's not our intent in life. Our intent is to truly be that community support and help these bands that we personally believe in and want to see continue to grow their craft and their skill. And you said earlier, it comes through their visuals, right? It's a two-edged part, right? Like there's an art to music videos, and there's an art to music. So they go hand in hand together, and they can really tack on that extra element to the experience of what that meant.
I think that's why you'll succeed, is because that's your foundation, and it may be a longer rise, you know what I mean? But that's great. That's the way to go. Lisa and Matt, y'all both said it earlier, like this is a video based world. Like this is a music based show, but it's online, and like music videos are more important than they ever have been, whether you like that or not. And I get both sides of the argument. Like there was an article not too long ago, I forget it was a major artist that's like, I just want to be a songwriter. I don't want to do all these other things. And it's like, respect, but that's either pay somebody to do it if you have the money, but complaining about it ain't going to change that's how it is. That's how it is, period.
Either that or sell your songs and make your money that way. If you don't want to be in the visual market, then if you're a songwriter, sell your songs.
Write them and sell them.
We'll write you a check and move on your way.
Right.
But how do you market yourself if you're doing that? You still got
that's a word of mouth game.
Yeah. And I read an article not too long ago that the music video is dying, but it's not, because like Kevin films like a 3-minute long video for a song, right? That's 3 minutes worth of 30-second content that the band's got that they can cut up and post out on social media and advertise themselves and grow themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. TRL and MTV are not what they used to be for my generation, but YouTube is, and even further past that, like you just said, Matt, you put it on YouTube and then you chop the shit out of it, right? And then spackle that all over every one of these platforms that we're all on right now. And that's the game.
It really is. And then, getting back to what Kevin was saying, that, you take that content and that you've got to format it for all the different platforms, because you need to go ahead and execute that then all over your social medias, which all require a different size, right? But then the beauty of it is you can take that 3-minute video, right? You can put the hook in there to any sequence of that video that you wish. And you can even just combine images, right, to flash across the screen. It doesn't have to be a continuous video. It could just be images flashing across the screen with the hook. And there it is. You can use that anywhere. So I think doing the music video is still super important, but what are you using it for in the end is really the bigger picture.
100%. Yeah. It's cool for me to hear y'all say that I guess you go into the shoot, whether you want to do, you said 16:9, or I forget what's the wider one.
21:9, which is starting to get into what you call more of an anamorphic aspect ratio.
Right, but you're framing that shot regardless if it's 16:9 or the other one. You're framing that shot knowing that you might slice a TikTok, Instagram live out of it, and that's killer. That means to me, it's like you're up to date and you know why we're doing what we're doing. It ain't just because it's the 1980s and 90s and it's MTV. No, it's like but it's updated. That's killer.
I think there's something to still be said about creating a story, right? Because essentially, as a music video company, we're storytelling without words, right? And that story should be a compliment to whatever that song is and what that artist kind of had in mind. Now, there are times where you do parody music videos, like I think somebody had talked about Avoid earlier, which I'm a huge Avoid fan. I love their music videos; they're super cool. I would love to do some more of that kind of content in the future. but you know, I think it's the storytelling that goes hand in hand into it. You know, I think of some of the early music videos that we did with Kingdom Collapse. Some of their best music videos in accompaniment to the actual song itself are the ones that are like true visual tales, right? They're telling a story that people can relate to, or maybe they haven't relate, but somehow they connect with that individual in that music video. So I think of like Suffer, like the first music video that we did together, right? You know, that took you on this ride of revenge. You know, it wasn't just, you know, somebody dealt with a heartache. It was, oh, I'm going to go kick some ass at the end with it too. And you know, I think it's being able to share those stories that can be relatable, people can enjoy. That's the coolest part for me. And my wife hates it because all the time I'm constantly showing her music videos. Hey, does this make sense? Or hey, what do you think here? And she's like, would you just stop showing me these songs?
Yeah. You know, it's definitely like me and Lisa had this conversation back along with the whole is the music video dead or whatever. And in my opinion, like I'll take the Architects video for instance, right? The whole music video of the band stood there playing has been killed to death, right? And like we'll take the Action Embers song there. They're telling a story about the song. I'm more than likely going to go and watch the Action Embers Happy song more times on YouTube than I am the Architects one because I get that story and I get that concept of the band's vision behind the song.
Mm-hmm. And then you know the marketing aspect of it too, right? It's kind of like when you're watching YouTube or even go old school and say watching TV, right? And an advertisement comes on TV and you start seeing these repeat things that are happening. And something in your subconscious is happening, or suddenly you start thinking about these things that you're seeing repeatedly. And the same is said to be true in a music video, right? Like you can come up with the greatest stories in the world, but are you selling the band or not? And I think that's a key difference, right? And so I think that's where, you know, the bands that we work with, they tap into this, they understand this, where it's you're marketing their faces, right? You're marketing their image, and you have total control of that image. And so those are the things that you really want to make sure that you're careful in crafting, while also selling that great visual novel or storytelling that you're sharing, which has been really neat to do. You know, in terms of the growth aspect, it's really helpful as Happy Out. So, you know, being able to be at a place now where I can afford to have a partnership in this, Anthony's truly helped take this to the next level in terms of having that extra creativity. The hardest thing to do, and I'm sure any musician can relate to this, is constantly living in a creative space. At some point you hit a roadblock. At some point you hit this wall of, man, I don't even know what to do here. Like I can't think, it's not coming to me. Like the creative juices just are not flowing for me. And being able to have the yin to the yang is super helpful to be able to keep the creativity going. And not only that, push what we're able to do, right? Because I think when I was more of the solo aspect and working with bands, it was, I don't know if I can do that. We're kind of pushing the edges of what we may be able to possibly do. And Anthony comes in and he's like, oh no, we can totally do that. Here's how. And then we'll start figuring it out. And the cool thing about the bands that we've worked with is that because we have some more of that flexibility in that time, they let us take risks. They let us take chances. There's a new music video that's going to be coming up with West Creek that's dropping actually this Friday.
Friday.
That's one of the first music videos that we've ever done green screen on. So we're trying some different elements. We're also looking at 3D environments, things like that, that we can start to really push the envelope and what we're capable of doing. To again, at the end of the day, support bands and help uplift them.
So there's lots of parts. It's not a case of you just go and film a music video. There's lots of parts of what you both do. So I'm going to ask this to both of you. What part of what you do you love the most?
Yeah, I love being able to show up and just be creative, right? We both touched on the fact that this is not our full-time gig all the time. So, you know, going from and seeing this all come full circle from being a musician for so long and, you know, having those shows and those practices where you just get to break away from, you know, real life and you know, express yourself Well, that's what this is like too, right? At this stage of the game, we're able to step into the music video set, and we're able to, hash out all our ideas. Like he was saying, every creative runs into a block, and it almost seems like whenever he runs into a mental block, it's like, oh, hey, I got an idea. And then when I am not able to formulate an idea, he's right there and he's like, here's what we're going to do. And so to the artist, it looks like we've got it all figured out, but we're creatives too. And on the back end of it, we're trying to formulate as we go with the different ideas that we put in there. So I think it's awesome to see it, as a partnership now, and, just see everything that we're going to not only putting out now, but what we're going to be able to put out in the future.
That's just like a band. I mean, right?
It's
That's the thing. It's no different.
We like I said earlier, how like Jonathan likes to, do some co-directing. We encourage that. Like, what is your vision? Like, we can come up with ideas all day long, but it's your product. Your
right.
Product. You're stamping it with your name, your seal of approval. And so a lot of times things just start in the cloud of ideas, right? And we start to narrow in locations and talent and what props do we need? Are there things that we're going to need to get cleared out legally, to make sure that we're able to get away with a location or whatever. But you asked what is the coolest part? I'll say this selfishly. We're fans of the bands before anything. We get to hear the music before anybody else.
Wow, that's the perfect answer. That really is the perfect
answer. Songs before anybody even knows what the heck they are. So
that's like a true. That's a true test that lets me know that you're in it for the right reasons. We've talked about it on the show before. To know if you're a real music junkie, if you want to test somebody on the street, ask them what their favorite band is, and if they pause and go, oh man, I like what genre, what year, what they're usually a music junkie. If you can't answer that question, very few people just answer it right away that are really into music. Some people do, but it's rare.
Don't go up to the person wearing a Nirvana t-shirt,
Yeah. They're like, what? Who is this? I don't know.
I've got a question. Can we talk about costs?
Yes.
Is that on the table? Okay. So hi, I've got a band. We put out a few singles. We're working with a producer. Me and the boys, our day jobs, we're working overtime, saved up a little bit of money, right? This next single, this is it for us. Our producer agrees this is going to go to radio. We got a little bit to put to a radio campaign. We really want to push hard. What can you do for us to try to get us that execution across our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube to help elevate this song? Got a little bit of money. How much is going to cost us for you to knock this out?
That's a great question. And I'll answer it in this way. We have to live within our realities. And so the way the framework of a music video comes to play is I'm kind of like your pick your own parts and bring them to my shop, and we're going to piece this bus together. And what I mean by that is that the first thing that you want to do is frame out what your story is. If you've already done that, you've done a portion of the work, right? You're coming with a part. The second thing is we have to nail in dates and see what's realistic for us from a filming perspective. How many dates are we required to film that? Do those locations require a police presence or a physical payout in order to obtain? Some places can charge by the hour. Some places are free. Those are the best places to save money. If you have access to those places, let's use them, right? The other thing would be your props. What kind of props do you need physically in this video? If you can provide that saves you time and money. If you want to have talent in your music video, meaning not your band itself, but actors, actresses, or makeup, visual arts. These are all things that can layer on to be that cost. Our job is we kind of play a bit of your financial advisement process. Say, hey, let's start way up here and let's start looking at what the reality is. If your budget is X, then let's work here and see what we can get you. As a standard formality, we typically start with a typical video day shoot around $500. And then the editing can charge differently. And then we can have social media packages that charge differently. But for a day's worth of shoot,
you're looking at about $500. And we'll stretch that day if we need to. There's been times where we've shot way into the night, overnight. There's been times where we start very early in the morning, and then we're working all day. That last music video that you saw, that you guys shared, that was shot all day. And it was hot. It was hot too. We weren't in the AC at all. But we'll put ourselves in the extremes if that's what we need to do to give you guys the visuals.
So if I'm looking for that package though, for like I described, for my social media platforms and whatnot, if I came to you with like $3,000, $4,000, is it going to require that? Is it going to require a little bit less? If I'm looking for that real top tier, if I'm saying, no, I want you to handle it all, is that plausible?
So anything around the $3,000 mark is going to get you quite there. It's going to be a great starting place. We've done videos as low as $1,000. If we have to, that's what we need to do. Now it's going to come up to how much you're working on your end to provide those resources, right? But I don't think that there's a budget that we couldn't work with in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because we would want to help you. If we're taking on your project, we want to help you. And we want to see in terms of where the ceilings are. The most common things that I see people needing is location and light. Those are like the two kind of basic things that you're looking at. We are personally, Anthony has his own arsenal of lights, so we're personally building our own light options and light packages that we just include to the base price. It's like, hey, if you're shooting with us, you get the lights for free. But if we have to outsource that, then it just comes down to what we're able to negotiate. But when I said that we work like your financial advisor, we're working to help you save money. Our goal is not, hey, Lisa, oh, you got $3,000? Yeah, I'm going to get you this base package and I'm going to pocket a couple grand on the side.
Right.
That's not my goal. My goal is how much more fun can we have in the process by hiring on more talent, having fun with what it is that we're doing to make the end experience even better. Because at the end of the day, we're not just investing in you, we're investing to both of us.
Oh, it's your name on it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Kevin, that goes back to the video we mentioned earlier in the show, right? Of the producers charging for the amps that they already had in the studio and y'all got to go watch that video. I swear.
I bought this amp 20 years ago, but I'm going to charge the band $100 a day to use it.
Yeah, right. And then charge for the other amp if we used it once and do it's the exact opposite of what you guys just said is what was common practice with producing and recording a record. It's not late 90s, early 2000s. So it's great to hear you guys say that you're the opposite of that. And that's absolutely amazing. I do have one more question, unless Lisa or Kevin, you want to say anything, ask anything before I shoot it out. Kevin?
No, go ahead.
Okay. My question was, and I think we lost Matt. Is he?
He looks.
Yeah, he looks uninterneted.
Matt looks gone. Maybe he's doing some lemon drop shots.
Yeah, but I love everything that you guys have said so far tonight, and I love the honesty on Lisa's question with the pricing. If you're listening to this, guys, live, replay, whatever, that's an honest answer because there are a ton of variables that go into something like a video shoot, right? You could have no extras, nobody else, free location. Guys, just please get me something that looks cinematic, and I need to get it on the internet. And you're saying like a $500 day add-on for editing, whatever, right? Or you can put the bells and whistles on it, and any one of those I think could do really well, just depending on the creativity and the power of the song, right? So that was a great answer. My question is, we have a independent artist audience. If it's a band that's just getting started, that's never branched out into the music video thing yet, right? I heard you already say that you love to work with their idea. If they bring the idea to you, even better. But what about the performance side and the camera side when they have if you're in a band, you play live, you've had the lights, you've had the this and the that, but you've never had that camera in your face and you've never had to interact with not people being there, right? Like there's not a live audience there. it's a set, right? Like, had you coached bands through that, or
Absolutely. We're not going to let you just stand there. I mean, unless that is like literally, you know, the creative idea around it. Our goal is we're going to push you just as you're going to push us, right? And if there's a story or a visualization that you're looking for, you're going to want to push us to being able to see if that's possible. Likewise, we're pushing you like, hey, you know what? That last move didn't work. Hey, you know what? The framing on this, we need to fix. Or, hey, the energy didn't match what you were saying. We're constantly doing that. There's been multiple times where I'm like, you know what? I didn't like that at all. Let's redo it, right? And so we'll invest that time. We're truly here to be with you to get you the best product we can. I think that's, again, it just goes into that total package, right? Where we're in this with you, and we're going to push each other to seeing what's possible and what more we can do. Because we're controlling the narrative of how you're presenting yourself. We truly are. I mean,
your name's on it as well, just like their name's on the song, your name's on the video, right?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are great questions. I want to switch gears for a minute. Can I announce a giveaway?
We love giveaways.
All right.
I love that. Bring it on.
So, there's this small little tiny song that Kingdom Collapse did called Unbreakable.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, most
Me
people.
neither. I'll go look it up when it's done.
No,
I don't even know who the fuck the band is.
Hey, do y'all think that's Knock Game? Lisa?
I've got no idea who they are.
I don't know who Kingdom
Yeah,
Collapse.
nobody knows who that is, right?
No,
So,
never seen them.
I got permission from the band. There's something that I've been holding on to for quite a while, and this is the final sign that Jonathan holds up at the end of the music video. We are going to have the band sign it and frame it, and we're going to give it away.
Wow.
Nice.
Here's how we're going to give it away.
Never heard of
Wait,
them.
I know who they are. I know who they are. I promise.
I'm scrolling through Spotify now. Give me a sec.
And this goes to show, again, it's the partnership. We're giving this away, but we want no credit out of it. We want it to go to support our band. And so if you go onto TikTok and share your unbreakable story, so you're going to put hashtag my unbreakable story and tag the band in it, hashtag the band in it, they're going to select somebody. And we're going to have this framed and signed by the entire band, and we're going to send it to them. So,
are you going to post this across your social media platforms as well? Because I
What's
know
that?
we'd like. Are you going to post this across your social media platforms as well? I know we'd like to share it.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to. We'll do a formal post about it, but
Fantastic.
I figured we'd save the announcement here because
Oh well, thank
there's
you.
a nice little giveaway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
A memorable moment from the history of what we've done and what Kingdom Collapse has done.
Do y'all have dates on that? When it starts and when it ends yet?
We haven't gone that far into detail, but we'll put that on the
Sure.
formal post.
Hey, let us know, and like Lisa said, we'll connect that to all of our stuff as well, because that's super kick-ass. And anybody that competes in that doesn't, go give Kreuked Media a like, follow, share,
Right.
hashtag, whatever. You're an asshole, so don't be an asshole.
Dude, it would look good right where that Motley Crue poster is.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
I'd
just
move
thinking
mine
about where I
across
just got my wall right now.
And none of us are allowed to win. I'll go ahead and say that right here. None of us are allowed to win.
The one detriment of being on the podcast and being part of this team is we don't get to win anything.
Don't get to win.
No, we just get to talk to cool kick-ass people like you guys. Thank you so much for being part of our show.
That's
tonight.
how we win. That's how we win.
Right, exactly. So,
yeah.
So if a band was going to hit you up or people wanted to find you, where's the best place for them to do that?
So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Kreuked Media. You can search us on any of those platforms, and they all link to each other. We're probably most active on Instagram, so at Kreuked Media. And we'd love to work with you. We're super thankful for every opportunity that we've had this far. It's such a fun journey, and we'd love to start a partnership with anybody that's ready to. if you're ready to go the long haul. Like, let's do this together and let's have some fun and create some memories.
Last quick question. If I wanted to call you tonight, how far out are you already out in 2024 as of right now? Today's January
So
the 10th.
we're booked out to about, I would say, May.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay. I mean,
So-
that's good and bad.
For you,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good and bad. Like I said, it's not our full time job, but we don't just do music. There are other things that we dabble in as well. We're most passionate about music videos, and so that's where we have the most fun. But yeah, I would say realistically, probably not until about May.
That's fair enough. This is January the 10th when he answered that question, 2024. So
But,
I don't know
shoot
when
us
you're
a text,
listening.
or you can call us. I'll give a phone number. It's 210-540-1373. My name is Kevin. Again, this is Anthony. And we've been super appreciative to spend the evening with you guys and talk music and have some fun. We'd love to create your next project.
Man,
Yeah,
it's
it's
been great. We've talked about this last year, all of us over here on this side of the screen, about having more people in the industry on the show and not just the artists, which we obviously love the artists, we do. But this was a kick-ass conversation, and we really appreciate you guys for taking the time out of your night to do that. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets in there. If you're up and coming artist and you know, there was a lot of questions answered. So I hope y'all enjoyed as much as we did.
Yeah, thank you for being so candid with us, and appreciate your humility and willing to help all these bands. You guys just putting out a great product, so we're so happy to highlight you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
I enjoyed it.
You said it earlier, right? There's a large spectrum of people that do work in the background, and I think you'll find too that we aim to give them credit as well. I mean, it all goes hand in hand. Everybody has a part to play, and we're just as passionate as they are. So, super thankful. Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, see you.
Thank you guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you.